Good evening. I come over, obviously my district's pretty way over on the east side. No, it's not that far, guys. But I came over because I want to do a couple things. First off, to just thank everybody for the support for the last 4 years. Getting in office, obviously it's important to get in, but once you're in, it's important to do a lot of things and be successful and, you know, support Sunrail, support my friend Pat Northey over there. Pat Northey and I have worked on some amazing things over the last few years that I think, you know, this area should be proud of. She's Miss Trails, which is great. And that's her nickname that we make fun of her for. But you know, a lot of good people are running for office, and I think it's important to not only know the ones you're voting for, but know the ones that are on the east side, know the ones that are outside the district. So it's not all about just, you know, having candidates come over, and it's, you know, my opponents aren't here because they don't think it's necessary because people aren't going to vote. Well, I'm your county councilman now. So it's important for you guys to know and pay attention when you're reading the papers and going to county meetings and finding out, well, what does this person stand for? You know, we've had a lot of good things, I think, personally lately. Economic development, we've had a huge focus, and I know everyone running for office right now throws out that buzzword. But what does it really mean? You know, it's that investment of the incubator program, which is a huge deal. Obviously, Sunrail, which is gigantic. The investment going on with that, and I have to applaud DeBerry. DeBerry is doing it right. As far as doing the TODs, transportation-oriented development, for those of you that don't know, it's basically when you have the station going vertical so you can fit more in because of the tax base so it can actually pay for the train. So it was great that we got the train over the river with leadership, like I said, from Pat, who is literally, when I start talking and I'm not thinking about the west side enough, I get this piercing look and coming from the side that I can feel. So she does a great job to keep me in shape. And you know, Rob Field, even though he's not yet in office, I get calls from him all the time from the west side saying, hey, you know, make sure to think about this, make sure to pay attention to what's going on and how this affects Deltona, which I think is important. So as everyone's talking and discussing, you know, what they're going to do, you know, it's important, like I said, to pick up the phone, go on another candidate's website that's not in your district, which is mine, Wagner for Volusia, and see what I stand for. Because you may have friends, you may know people on the east side. Even though I like Ben Johnson and he'll punch me a couple times here and there, you know, you got to know what people stand for. You got to know what they believe in, and you need to know what the record is. You know, I've been in office for almost 4 years now, and you have a record. So when everyone talks tonight and they do have a record, actually follow up on it. See what they ran for 4 years ago. I was speaking to a group last night, and luckily they had a questionnaire, and it said, what would you do when you're in office? I actually took a photocopy of my 2008 questionnaire, highlighted it, and said, hey, here's what I said I was going to do, and here's what I've done. So follow up with all these people. It's really important because if you're engaged in this side, and we're engaged, and I don't want to call sides, but we do have districts, so there are different areas. If you engage in your community, which you're doing now, it will help all of us. You know, the high tide raises all boats. So I'm really happy to see everybody here. Feel free to move to District 2. I'd love to have you. Actually, feel free to move to District 2 if you're going to vote for me. If you're not, you can stay. No, I'm just kidding. That would be fair. But, you know, I appreciate it. You know, like I said, we have had a lot of support from the west side with a lot of the programs we've been working on. I know one of the big ones, and I think would be really neat, and I've asked a couple people about this tonight, is having air travel to Puerto Rico from our airport. I am a surfer, and I don't get to go in the water as much, but I've been to Puerto Rico a lot, and if I could get that direct flight, I think I would be on the first one with all of you. As long as we can get the surfboard rate travels down, that would be nice. But if anyone here surfed, you'd understand why that's important. I actually was drilling John Micah, his assistant, the other day, trying to get those prices down. But I won't take too long, everybody. I appreciate everyone being here. I'd say, again, if you want to move to District 2, it's Josh Wagner. You can go on my website, like I said, Wagner for Volusia. See what I stand for, see what I've done. I've listed everything, and if you have any questions, and when something comes up, don't just call Pat, call me. Say, Josh, this is something you should consider. A lot of people already do, but I think it's important to reach out to all the different county council members. Thanks, everybody.